Over the last few weeks, I've been geeking out on a bunch of new video and AI tools popping up lately. I'm specifically focused on the ones that promise to lip sync, animate, or magically turn a single piece of footage into a stack of social clips. There's a lot of hype surrounding these new platforms, and honestly, not everything out there is worth your valuable time. Today, I'm going to walk through exactly what I tested, compare the real-world pros and cons, and show you my findings. If you're a creator trying to get consistent short-form content out the door, Vizard actually feels like the best workflow glue in this messy tool set. Let's jump in and see what we find. First up, let's talk about the flashy cinematic tools in this space. One of them, which you may have seen circulating, has a feature that attempts to generate motion and camera movement directly from a still image. This is done alongside a bunch of preset emotions and various camera templates you can select. It's genuinely neat. You pick a style like selfie, steady cam walk, or speaker zoom, and the system adds hand gestures and environmental effects. They even have some wild options, like a hypothetical one with tentacles, if your creative brain is feeling particularly spicy that day. The results can look surprisingly cinematic quite quickly, which is valuable if your goal is a mini production feel. However, there are always trade-offs when chasing that high production value. For starters, audio length caps can be surprisingly tight, sometimes as short as 13 or 14 seconds. This means if you want to use a longer monologue, you'll definitely need to chop it up or choose only a single compelling sound bite. Rendering can also be quite slow when you push the system to its higher quality settings. While the system often nails creative camera tricks and background movement, the lip sync can sometimes lag visibly behind the audio. So you get gorgeous motion and energy, but that occasional mismatch in mouth movement becomes a real workflow bottleneck for high-volume content. Next, we look at the other camp, tools that hyper-focus on face fidelity and extremely precise mouth movement. These systems are designed to do lip sync really well by taking a portrait and animating it to your script or voice file. The resulting mouth movements are often impressively accurate when you review them. Processing times can sometimes be much faster on these platforms compared to the cinematic generators. A huge plus is that many of these accept much longer audio inputs, sometimes up to a full minute of content. This is a massive advantage if you are primarily producing talking head content that needs tight synchronization. The major downside, though, is that they sometimes treat the input strictly like a photo rather than a dynamic video scene. This means the background typically won't move, and you get little to no cinematic camera work from the tool itself. It's very face-forward, great lips, but not much environmental context or dynamic scene quality. Also, some of these platforms enforce strict content rules around certain face types or material involving children, which is understandable for safety. But those rules can become creatively limiting if your content needs to include those specific categories, so you end up with two distinct extremes, one cinematic but uneven on-sync, and one great on-sync but lacking scene dynamism. If you are a solo creator trying to turn long live streams or interviews into daily shorts, neither one solves that full problem alone. That is precisely where Vizard steps in and why I've been recommending it as the workflow glue for scaling content. Here is the real-world breakdown of what I tested and why this tool changes the game for content repurposing. Let's start with its feature for auto-editing for viral clips. With the cinematic tool, you still have to manually scavenge the long video for that one high-performing 10 to 20-second hook. And the lip sync first tool might get you a great talking head moment, but it won't optimize for spotting those truly viral bits. Vizard's auto-editing viral clips feature actually scans your entire long video. It finds high engagement moments, emotional peaks, energetic punchlines, or question hooks, and creates ready-to-post clips automatically. It's not perfect every single time, but it completely saves you the tedious scrub and chop work involved in manual editing. You get a batch of candidate clips that you can then quickly review and make minor tweaks to. The next major advantage is batch work and incredible speed through the entire pipeline. Instead of exporting a high-res render, uploading it somewhere else, chopping it into 30 clips, and adding captions manually, Vizard keeps everything in one place. You upload your raw recording, an hour-long interview, or a full podcast episode, let the AI generate the shorts, and you can preview everything in minutes. This is the difference between spending a whole afternoon to get 2 posts out versus queuing up a week's worth of content in just 1 hour. Moving on to my favorite part, smart scheduling through the auto-schedule feature and maintaining evergreen posting. You set a desired posting frequency, and you can let the platform feed the queue for you without constant babysitting. For creators who crave consistency without becoming a full-time social media manager, this auto-schedule function is pure gold. The cinematic and lip-sync tools are great for one-off creative clips, but they completely lack distribution management. Vizard actively manages this. You pick your posting times, select target platforms, and the AI staggers the clips for steady output. The content calendar feature itself provides essential sanity when you are producing at scale. It's a single place to organize, tweak details, and hit publish across all your queued content. Want to move a clip to next Tuesday? Change the caption set for one platform, or check everything in one view? You can do it seamlessly. This is a massive quality of life improvement compared to juggling files in cloud storage and separate drafts across multiple apps. Finally, let's talk about pricing and the return on investment you get from using this system. Flashier cinematic sites often push you toward higher tiers to unlock the best models or remove watermarks. Lip sync services can also quickly get pricey if you need unlimited generation or seats for a growing team. Vizard's pricing structure feels noticeably more creator-friendly in the long run. The value comes from the batch automation and scheduling that directly saves you labor hours, making the monthly cost easier to justify. You aren't paying a premium render fee for every single alternate take you want to test out either. If you need a lot of content out the door consistently, Vizard scales much better financially than per-render models. It's also worth noting their stance on safety and policy handling in the editing process. Some platforms rightly block certain content categories, but because Vizard focuses on editing your original footage, it often stays better aligned with platform policies. It typically won't try to recreate sensitive deepfake-like outputs, which is a good thing to keep in mind. That said, creators should always remain mindful and adhere strictly to all ethical guidelines when posting content. So what does the superior Vizard workflow look like in actual practice? Step 1 is simply uploading your long video, be it a podcast, live stream, or training session, and letting the AI deeply analyze the entire file. Next, the auto-edit viral clips generator scans that file and returns a set of suggested short clips, usually between 10 and 30 seconds each. These suggested bites are structured to hook your potential watchers within the first 1 to 3 critical seconds. You then go through these suggested clips, apply a chosen template like an intro stinger or captions, and tweak any trims if necessary. Crucially, you can mark which ones you want to post immediately and which ones you want to save for later scheduling. The magic happens when you hit auto-schedule. You set your cadence, like daily or 3 times a week, and pick the target platforms. The system automatically populates your entire posting calendar with optimized content ready to go live. Finally, you use that content calendar to preview the entire feed, rearrange any posts, or bulk edit captions and hashtags across the board. When the time comes, Vizard publishes the content directly or prepares the drafts for your final approval. That entire process is one unified pipeline from raw footage straight through to scheduled social posts. It's not attempting to replace a full video editor if you need meticulous color grading or complex visual effects. But for the scale-focused creator who needs to build momentum quickly, it replaces a whole suite of formerly manual tasks. Now, for a final few real-talk comparisons to help you make your own decision. If your absolute top priority is cinematic camera moves and stylized character animation, you should lean toward the Cinematic First tool. It's incredibly creative and fun when it hits its mark, but you must expect a handful of reruns and the occasional visual wobble. If you strictly need pristine lip sync for talking heads, avatars, or quick product demos, the Lip Sync First tool is genuinely excellent. The main trade-offs there are the missing background motion and often weaker overall batch processing features. However, if your core business priority is publishing a steady stream of short-form clips from long-form material, Vizard is the most practical choice. You still get nice templates, quick captioning, and fast edits, but the true advantage is the massive time saved through streamlined publishing. The bottom line is that none of the other tools are inherently bad. They are just excellent for very specific, singular jobs. But if you want a day-to-day system that turns long videos into a reliable pipeline of social clips, Vizard truly reduces the grind. If you are producing content regularly and aiming to grow without hitting creator burnout, this automation suite is worth a very close look. All right, that wraps up my complete rundown of the current landscape in AI video repurposing tools. If you want, I can make a follow-up video showing a short checklist for using Vizard with a YouTube live stream or an hour-long podcast. That next video could feature step-by-step advice on which templates to pick for TikTok versus Instagram, for example. And I can show you exactly how to configure auto-schedule so you always have content going out without any manual oversight. If that sounds useful, drop a comment below telling me you want the next one. Until then, remember to make something awesome and don't let these new tools slow down your creative momentum.